So this is my credit score not using this hack. And then this is it after using it. Then again, no hack. And then next month, a simple hack to boost my credit score over 100 points. So today we're looking at how you need to be paying your credit card so that you too can be a credit ninja and just boost your credit score over 100 points whenever you want. Everything we talk about in this video has helped me get a really high credit score and get access to the best vehicle loans and home loans possible across my vehicles and multiple real estate properties. But if this is your first time seeing one of my videos, what's up? My name's Daniel, and if you want to keep leveling up your finances, make sure you hit the subscribe button down there because I make videos twice a week. Now, by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to increase your credit score over 100 points in a single week, like I did, how this is even possible, and then the best strategy for paying down your credit card to essentially have the credit bureaus give you whatever credit score you want. But it's extremely important that you watch this video all the way through. Don't skip to any part of it. I know some of you are out there with trigger fingers, but you are going to learn something from this video, even if you've used credit cards for years, even if you collect credit cards, even if you keep a whole stash of them in a monster binder and take out the metal ones and polish them once every other week. Is that just me? Now let's start with a real analysis of a credit card statement and the numbers that you need to pay attention to be able to use this strategy. So this is my Chase credit card statement. Now all statements are legally required to show all of the information that we're gonna be talking about, but they might be organized a little bit differently on your statement. Now the first number here that we're gonna pay attention to is the new balance or the statement balance. This is the key to the entire strategy that we're gonna be using today, but it actually relies on a couple of other numbers, so we're gonna come back to this one later. Next is the minimum payment. This is how much you would have to pay to avoid getting charged late fees. But you can pretty much just ignore this number because we're never going to be paying just the minimum payment. Payment due date, this is another critical number. This is when your payment for this bill, an example, $2,593.48 is due. And if you don't pay this balance by this date, you'll owe interest. Previous balance, this is how much my last statement balance was. Payments and credits, this is how much I paid off since my last statement. And I also made $12,000 in purchases, which gives me a total of $2,593.48 for my new balance, which again is at the top of the statement. Opening and closing dates. This is another important date that you need to find on your statement, and this shows what date range this statement applies to. And the last day here is called the statement closing date, or just the statement date. So my statement was for transactions that happened 10/4 through 11/3. And then almost a month later, the payment was due on 11/28. And the months are actually also really important to pay attention to here. I've seen a lot of people misunderstand this strategy. They say that my statement closing date is on the 3rd, but the due date is on the 28th. Since it happens before, I'm not able to use this strategy. However, that's simply not possible. The statement's closing date always has to happen first before the due date. It just corresponds to different months. Another important number here is the total available credits or credit access line. Here it shows mine is $34,400. This is what my limit on this credit card is. And the last number, which is most important for us, but not listed on any credit card statement, is the utilization ratio. And that's simply a ratio of your statement balance divided by your total available credit expressed as a percentage. In my example with this statement here, it's gonna be about 7.5%. And if any of those definitions weren't clear, feel free to skip back to that part of the video and rewatch that a second time because it's gonna be very important that you're familiar with everything we just discussed. Because once we know your statement date and your due date, we're gonna know exactly which days you need to be paying your credit card off and how much. And spoiler alert, it's not all the way. You don't just make one single payment on one single day of the month. That'd be way too easy. And you wanna show the credit card companies that you are actually still using your credit card, show some utilization without paying any kind of interest expense. Now, when you receive your credit card statements, this information is also gonna be forwarded to the 3 credit bureaus, which is Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And one of the things that they pay attention to is your credit utilization rate because it makes up 30% of your credit score. So if you go from very bad utilization, not paying attention to your credit card statement at all, to perfect utilization like I did, you could swing your credit score over 100 points in just a couple of weeks. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that most people make with their credit cards is that they just use them throughout the month, run up a balance, and then when they get the statement in the mail, they pay it off in full. Because if you use your credit card and then just wait for the statement to come in the mail, showing that huge balance, the credit bureaus will have already seen all of that information. They would have seen your high utilization rate, deemed you as irresponsible, and then dropped your credit score accordingly. Now, some people have realized this and they only use their credit card like once per month for a single small transaction. That way, when their statement comes in, they have a really low utilization and it improves their score, But that's a bad solution because your credit card probably earns you rewards. Like this one makes me a few $100s of cash back every single month. And walking around with cash is very inconvenient, and a debit card gives you no rewards. Plus you miss out on other credit card benefits like purchase protection. So personally, I stopped using cash and debit cards altogether. But I don't really burn my real money like this. Because there is a better solution, which is to pay your credit card off twice per month. Once before the statement date and the rest before the due date. And since credit bureaus only see your utilization rate on the statement date, they're completely blind to what happens for the rest of the month. So you could simply pay down your credit card the day before the statement date, and you would be able to show whatever kind of utilization rate you want. Now, the best utilization, of course, isn't public knowledge. No credit bureau is out there giving away their secret sauce, but by looking at thousands of other credit card holders reporting their information, we can kind of draw some conclusions as to which range of utilization is best. For example, looking at my credit score jumping up 103 points on September 7th, we can see that my utilization went from 23% to 0%. And a lot of forums and even credit card companies will tell you to keep your utilization under 30%, but looking at the data, it's simply not correct. I kept my utilization at 23%, but my credit score was still really low. Only after I decreased my utilization even further did my credit score actually end up improving. Next example, I tanked my credit score again, dropping it 104 points by bringing my utilization to 43%. So now I'm over that 30% recommendation, and my credit score is even lower than it was before. So while it shows us that going over 30% is definitely really bad, 30% or even a little bit under 30% still isn't a good number. Then I brought my credit utilization down to 2% across all of my credit cards, and my score jumped up to 764. And I will say this isn't a perfect example because my credit score was actually the highest on September 7th when I had a 0% utilization. And this makes it seem like the best utilization percentage for improving your score is 0%, but that's actually not true, and it's not really that simple. Because during this time, I also got a vehicle loan and multiple new lines of credit through new credit cards. So this makes my experiment pretty much worthless in determining what the best credit utilization is. But lucky for us, thousands of nerds have already come together on the MyFICO forums, and by looking at hundreds of credit scores and utilization rates, we can see trends like what we saw with my own score without the other factors influencing my score, like getting a new car or multiple new credit cards. And what they found was that the best credit card utilization was above $2, but under 9%. And so now knowing this, we can set up the perfect system to pay your credit card to maximize your credit score. First, you can turn on auto pay for your credit card to pay off the balance in full just a few days before the due date. Second, a few days before your statement date, log into your bank and pay your credit card off all but a few dollars. You can leave $2, or in my case, I left $2,000, but as long as your utilization stays under 9%, you'll be fine. However, if you've had a high utilization for a really long time, like you didn't know about this strategy and you've just been using your cards however convenient and then paying them off before the due date, you might not see a change right away when implementing this strategy. Or if you had multiple credit cards all reporting a high utilization, your results may vary, but I have already ruined my credit score for over 6 months and made a video about it so you can see exactly what to expect. Here's that video, and in here, I also talk about the different types of credit scores. So whether you're just trying to improve your credit karma score or your real credit score that you need to apply for something like a home loan or a vehicle loan, that's all covered. So click subscribe so you don't miss the next video, and then click here to watch that one next, and I will see you guys on the other side.